Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. It is Saturday. Hopefully, you're not burning up too much, and I think today's going to be a hot one. I'm working on rebuilding a porch for my in-laws, and today the heat will break after today. So hopefully, you are not cooking out there. Great live stream last night. Had my guy Game Time Brian joining us, and I'll be sure to check out Game Time and Prime Time tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern. We have practice today at 11:30 Pacific Time, okay, which is, if you're on the East Coast, 2:30. They'll be off the field about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So we'll have the camp notes and stuff this evening and things after I sweat my ass off building this deck, this porch. I had a question last night for Game Time because Micah Parsons, who is the quote machine, the thing that you have to like about Micah Parsons is he talks a lot of smack, but he backs it up. He backs it up with actions. And he started talking about saying that he was basically going to be putting the team on his back, and he's the motivator in chief there. But he was talking about everybody's comfortable when they're knee deep in water. But he's going to take him to the deep end and make sure that everybody can swim, so to speak. And he is looking forward, and he's talking about Super Bowls. And, people say don't talk about Super Bowls because you'll jinx it. But I believe that if you want something to happen, you first have to believe it can happen. This offseason has been crazy how much the Eagle fans have literally exploded. I will say the Eagle fans are worse after losing the Super Bowl than they were when they finally won that one in 2017. I literally have Philly 500 on a daily basis have a video that's Mark Holmes and the Dallas Cowboys, you guys suck ass. That literally, if you listen to Philly 500, everybody on that roster, if they're on the defense, they're going to get 20 sacks, okay, and they're going to be all pro. And everybody on the offense, including the offensive line, are all going to be getting 1,000 yards. Everybody's getting 1,000 yards. And that Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback, Joe Montana who, in the world. And the Eagle trolls that are literally there on every single video that are just going balls deep. There's no way in the world with as much smack as they've talked that they can live up to expectations. They would have to go 17-0, go to the Super Bowl, and not just win the Super Bowl, have it to be a 50-0 burger. That's literally how much smack they have. And now, the new guy, Jalen Carter, has gotten there, and he's making bulletin board material. And I know you're saying, bulletin board? What is a bulletin board? Okay. Back in my day, you had a bulletin board which had corkboard behind it. And you take a thumbtack and you stick it in it and you put stuff up on it. So you go to the newspaper, you cut it out, the headlines, and you stick it on there. So when every time the guys went past the bulletin board, they'd be reminded about what that guy said. So, let me show you the clip.
Dreams and nightmares, Meek Mill type feeling, What's the top tier? What are you hoping hits? And at worst, come on, man, you out here on the NFC champs, so what are you expecting out of this first year?
I'm ready to turn up, make a big impact to the season, to every game, and I'm ready to kill the Cowboys. Hey, everybody got beef on. I might well join the wave,
You think that this is the year? You guys gonna step over the hump?
Gotta be the year. I've been saying that this is the year where we got the hardest schedule, but we ready for that.
All right.
We won the easiest. We ready to play. We gonna play hard every game. We play easy games. We gonna get.
Okay. The new guy who just got there. All right. Shots fired. All right. Now, we are day number 5 of Zach Martin not being here. he is having to pay it's up to $250,000. $50,000 a day for not being at camp. And the reality is he can hold out. He can hold out. That's his only option. Problem is the fines are non-refundable. They are. If he holds out 10 days, $500,000. It used to be like when Zeke Elliott went to Cabo, that the fines, you could just, sweep under the table, forget about it, we're not going to actually charge you. That's not the case anymore. This is actually real money. And because of the way they did the collective bargaining agreement, there's really nothing you can do. Hold out for the season? Yeah, well, that hurts both parties. You're not going to get paid, and you don't lose that time. I'm hoping that the Cowboys get this thing done, because you want to have Zach Martin in there. Because I'll be honest with you, without Zach Martin, Jalen Carter said could be a reality. But if you got him going against Zach Martin, I'm pretty sure that they'll be able to clamp that shit down. But all reality is the Cowboys understand that they only have so much money to go around. You're going to have Micah Parsons next year. You still have CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee is basically saying, I'm not worried about this. My agent has full autonomy to go ahead and do and get this thing done. I'm going to focus in on being the best player I can be. So you need to get that thing done. You need to go ahead and get the extension done on Dak Prescott sooner than later. You just maybe got some more time before Joe Burrow kicks the can even higher down the road. Because ultimately, whether you like Dak or don't, the guy is 61-36 as a starter. The guy is destroying his division. And the best option that you have. You can't just say, get rid of that guy and just grab somebody else. We see teams that are out there trying to find quarterbacks left and right and have been trying forever and still don't have a quarterback. You see the Jets, they bought the farm, bought into Aaron Rodgers. And I still, and maybe I'm crazy, I know it's, Mecca where everybody is going there to the Jets, and maybe they get Dalvin Cook and get the gang all together and stuff. I still don't believe that that's a Super Bowl team. And we'll have to wait through the season and see. Anything can happen. But to think that you can just go out and say, we're going to replace a guy who's been averaging 30 points a game, that we're going to replace a guy who has been doing all the things that he did and get somebody better, you're crazy. It just doesn't happen. The thing you must do and the thing we must realize is this. We've had Tony Romo. Tony Romo was really good. The thing we didn't have was the defenses to go along with it. And right now, you're beginning to put the pieces together with that. I realized it hit me this morning because all we hear about are Dak Prescott's interceptions. Dak Prescott's interceptions, and Mike McCarthy might not be able to call plays. If they had something else on Dak that they could try and hit him with, they don't talk about he doesn't throw touchdown passes. They don't talk about him being a dink and dunker. They don't talk about him fumbling the football because he doesn't do those things. The only thing they have, and they don't talk about they don't have enough point production. You notice that? You can't look and say, well, the Cowboys, they need to score more points. Well, they're leading the league in points when Dak Prescott's there. You can't say that Dak Prescott fumbles the football like crazy. He doesn't. The only thing they have is the interceptions. In fact, as you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they can't find many things to talk about with the Cowboys as problems. They have to basically generate ones and say, Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. You mean a guy who's got a 61% winning percentage with the team, who's lost his quarterback on a number of occasions, who has 2 12-5 back-to-back seasons, that you're saying he's on the hot seat? When you have other coaches that have done far worse or far less? It's all they've got. Reality is they realize this is a good team and maybe the best roster we've had since the 90s. And I'm looking forward to seeing this roster in action. Anything can happen in the NFL. A team that you may not expect may be good. For all we know, the Commanders may, with the new organization, new hype and everything else, may get themselves together and become a great team and win the division. That's how crazy the NFC East is. And this hype that you've gotten from the Eagles, it's not attainable, what you've heard about. It's not. So anyway, I'm going to go over here before it gets hot and get working on this porch, and I will see you guys later on. Peace.